right now we're running 2 rods only. Is there advantage to only running 2 versus 4?
Less chaos when, you know, kokanee are fighting. So we're going lake trout fishing. That's got to be a Coke too. I got you that time. Check this out. That's a school of kokanee right there.
In today's episode, we're talking fall kokanee. The fish are getting aggressive, they're turning red, they're getting ready to run upstream and fight for their love. They're also aggressive on the bite. Colton's got a few more tips and tricks for us. Let's go. All right, we just pulled up right out in the middle of the reservoir. As kokanee are pelagic, they can be about anywhere, but we found them luckily pretty quick. So what we rigging up this morning, Colton?
Well, we're gonna be running a lot of small baits this time of year. This one's got a little spinning tornado or spinning minnow that we make. And then we'll start the other side with a Dakota spinner and maybe switch up to mini squids if things aren't happening our way.
Okay. So when you say the baits are a little bit smaller at this time of year, what does that mean compared to spring and earlier in the summer?
We like to go a smaller profile in the fall. Fish can be more finicky. Sometimes you got to go with a bigger dodger. Sometimes you've got to slow down or speed up, and so we're going to be playing with all sorts of stuff today until we figure these out. So
smaller profile on the bait, but possibly bigger dodger. Is that what I just heard?
Make it that bigger dodger will get the lure to react differently, either more of a whip. So yeah, we're going to be trying a whole bunch of different variables today.
Tell me about what rods we're using again real quick.
This one here is the Eagle Claw Featherlight Kokanee, and then this one here is the Akuma Kokanee Black. They're both an ultralight rod, great for kokanee fishing.
What reels do we have on there?
This one was the rod and reel combo. So this one's made by, I believe, well, this one's a Shakespeare that Eagle Claw puts on there, and then my favorite reels are the Abu Garcia 5500s. That's what I have on most of my rods.
And what test line do we have on each?
I run 12 pound.
And between dodger and lure?
So all my lures are now tied with 14. They were tied with 12, but last year we switched over to a 14 pound vicious. But so I'm running 12 to 14 on everything now.
What type of clip? Is this a little more sensitive clip? Kokanee aren't quite as big. Is this going to release a little bit easier than say something you'd use for a bigger lake trout?
Yeah, so lake trout we use the red ones. They're a heavy tension. These white ones are a light tension. They're all made by Canon Offshore or Offshore Tackle. And so yeah, we're going to be using the light clips, and these fish should be releasing it themselves out of these clips.
So what's our initial depth that we're going to go with right off the get-go?
Oh, we're going to be fishing between 40 and 60 feet.
So I'm guessing we're going to stagger them a little bit. Got 4 rods out.
Yeah, if we fish 4 rods, we'll stagger them 5 feet apart. So we'll fish like 40, 45, 50, 55. If we fish 2 rods, we'll probably stagger them at least 5 to 10 feet.
When you're fishing kokanee later in the summer, we're fishing 40 to 60 feet. We're a little bit deeper. How far behind the downrigger do you have the dodger?
Today we went less than 15 feet, and it seemed to work. You can't always go shorter. You can go longer. It's not going to hurt. They're not afraid of the downrigger weight. They're not line shy, anything like that. So you can do what you want deeper down. It really only matters in the springtime when they're really shallow.
You still on?
I think so.
So first Coke on the board. A little bit smaller guy, but you're saying you're seeing bigger fish on the.
Yeah, there's some nicer fish
finder
here. hopefully we can find, you know, some that are over 3 and even possibly over 4.
Tell me, Colton, a little bit about the difference between the mouths on kokanee at this time of year. Like springtime, they're super, super soft, right? Easy to tear hooks out of. Yeah,
and we're still gonna, you know, probably tear a few hooks out of the mouths today, but you know, they are changing. It is fall. The males are getting a hook jaw. They're all starting to turn red. We should see some pink ones today, possibly even some bright red ones.
So we're middle of August right now. You have a little less than 1 month to go in the kokanee season here at Flaming Gorge. How does the activity compare at this time of year, say other times of the year?
You know,
kind of your last chance, right, to get them.
This is one of my favorite times to fish, from now until September 9th, when you no longer can keep them, as they shut off the reservoir and it's catch and release only after starting September 10th. But this is one of my favorite times because some of these bigger fish, when they hit, they come surfacing out of the water before you even know they're on.
We're seeing a lot of fish down there. Any estimates on how many fish are in the school, I guess we could call it right here?
I mean, there's hundreds in this little small, we're probably circling 100-yard radius or diameter, and yeah, there's hundreds of fish in this area.
What made you choose this area? We're kind of, I mean, obviously, as we mentioned, kokanee are pelagic. We just kind of picked an area. There's not as many boats right here. There's areas where there's a lot of boats around us.
Yeah, and I mean, those areas that you're going to find that have a lot of boats, you're going to find fish. I mean, they are definitely on fish. But if you can find an area with less boats, you're probably going to catch more fish.
So generally we're going, what, 1.4 to 1.8 on the speed, though. I know you've told me in the past, sometimes in the fall you're going to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and I've actually kicked my... when we had that bite, I'd actually just put it in neutral, let the baits drop a little bit, and then kicked it back into drive, I guess, and shortly thereafter we hit that bite.
So the change in speed in that case, you think may have enticed the bite, but you don't want to go too fast, right?
You don't want to go too fast. You don't want to go too slow, or things, you know, won't move properly. A lot of times, just turning one way or another will slow down one side and speed up the other side, and sometimes that's enough to create a reaction on one side.
So when you say slow down, are we talking about going like down to 1 mile an hour?
Yeah, 1.
And then what would be top speed?
1.8.
1.8, okay. So still kind of in that up to 1.8, not quite 2. But maybe if we're on a hard turn, maybe you swing it up to 2 or something like that, but just for that brief moment. Right now we're running 2 rods only. Is there advantage to only running 2 versus 4?
Less chaos when, you know, kokanee are fighting.
So if you're running 4 rods, we got pretty fast action going. Can it just get into the other lines?
Oh, you can have, I mean, I've had 4 fish on at the same time. And, I mean, it's fun, but it's work at that point, too.
Yeah. How do you reel in 4 fish by yourself when your
camera
guy doesn't?
This is a good pink one. The meat on this is still going to be firm and definitely edible.
So he's just a little bit pink.
Yep, this is
kind of what you're looking for at this time of year.
Yep, this is a female. You don't see the hook jaw up here.
Okay, so we started between 40 and 60 feet. Is that holding true so far?
Yes. Yeah, we're fishing like 40, 45, both rods, 47.
And Colton, people are yelling at you from other boats saying hello. How are you dealing with the fame of becoming YouTube famous from this series?
I don't know what you're talking about.
A boat just passed us and yelled, Colton!
Yeah, that was a friend.
Just a friend, not a fan.
Yep, just a friend.
So I feel like you're driving in figure eights a little bit here. You talked about turning. The sun keeps messing up my camera, so as we turn back and forth. So do you do like a figure eight at all, or are we just arcing like a longer arc?
You know, it's hard to move off a fish when they're biting to find more fish. And so kokanee, you know, they tend to school up. They tend to not move too much in the daytime. I mean, kokanee in the evenings and late at night, they'll move miles. But most of these schools of fish, they will stay, you know, within a few hundred yards. And so if we're going to find some active fish, we're going to stay on them until we either don't get bit anymore, and then we'll go find fish. But there's no reason to leave biting fish to find others.
So do you want to try to keep the lures right in front of them as much as possible, or do you kind of leave the school, turn around, and come back through them again?
Well, whatever you can do, but I mean, of course, fish are going to move, and if they see your dodger in your lure, even from, you know, 50 feet away, they'll come to it if they want.
So you got the live scope going now, so you're seeing fish move from a long distance to come check it out.
Oh yeah, you'll see them come in from the back, you know, up 50 feet to the lure. You'll see them come from the front towards the back, and then some of them you'll just see off in the side just start coming in.
So as we get closer to the kokanee spawn, do the fish move into parts of the lake that are closer to spawning areas? Like, say, you know, a lot of fish run up Sheep Creek. Will you see more fish in the Sheep Creek area?
Oh, for sure. So you've got Sheep Creek where we're at. Just north of us, you've got the 3 coves that are just south of what they call Breeze Hill. This is Low Canyon over here. Those 3 coves, you will see spawning kokanee in all 3 of those coves this fall. They will actually spawn in the coves.
Gotcha. So would that explain why maybe there's several boats up in that,
oh,
up
for
towards
sure.
that area that we can see off in the distance?
Yep, for sure. A lot of these fish that are here now, they are, you know, they're here to stay. Now, a lot of them, they'll go up Green River. That's probably the biggest spawn on the Flaming Gorge is the Green River. So they'll run all the way up to, you know, almost Fontenelle.
A little better fish?
Yes.
Giving you a little harder tug.
Yep.
So key to bringing these in, right? We want to be
Take it
smooth.
slow, smooth. If they're gonna run, let them run. Don't try to turn them.
I missed my chance here.
Right there.
What is this lure right here?
That is the spinning minnow in a Wonder Bread pattern.
So you can see the hook jaw starting to form, starting to get into fall mode, a little spawner mode.
This is definitely a male.
What's your favorite lure and color to start in August, early September?
Well, that's a tough one in August, September, because it can vary from green to yellow, orange. My favorite lure is the shiny raspberry Dakota spinner, which holds true for, you know, most of the year. It's just a red beaded spinner with a silver blade, but overall, the most popular color is pink throughout the entire year.
Favorite Dodger color?
Silver or like a moon jelly or sun jelly are my 2 favorite.
We've got the Wonder Bread on this one over here. It's been pretty even so far, seems like.
Yeah, it's the Dodger's mainly just for action on the lure. It does attract, but it is mainly for action.
Okay, I just razzed Colton. I didn't even look over the side right there. It was a kokanee. There's a fish on behind Colton. If he'll turn around and grab the rod, that would be really helpful.
I'm trying to put the other rod out.
You know, I've said this before. A good friend would actually help him out instead of just standing here with a camera doing the play-by-play commentary.
This feels kokish. Fish on that pole.
Now Colton is, I mean, he's running all over the place. We've had some fast action this morning. I may have to consider fishing at some point. I did actually a few minutes ago jump up and grab one of the rods because we had a double going. But.
Hey guys, after fishing, check out Flaming Gorge Brew Co. for a bite. It's a great place to unwind. They have draft beers on tap. They have cornhole outside. Sit back and relax. We started with the pickle spears. I got chicken and waffles with a side of sweet potato fries. My wife got the jalapeno jelly burger. She said it was amazing, but she mostly stole my fries and said they were the best she's ever had. We finished it off with a buttery apple pie, which was absolutely amazing, and beignets. This series is made possible by Utah Tourism and the Flaming Gorge Chamber of Commerce.